have to do a massive shift in the way that we generate the power to run our lives. And we've probably also got to keep an eye on how much power each of our lives uses, so that that massive shift is less massive rather than more massive. So why don't we look at what a new life might be that uses less power than the one that I used to have, and how that would be a change on my old lifestyle. So I'm just going to say that I'm going to try and use the average amount of power of the average person in the world, which is about 2,200 or 2,400 watts, whereas in 2007 my lifestyle was 18,000 watts. So I've got to reduce by a factor of 7 or more. Let's have a look at that. Here's my new life. You might remember in my old life I flew 100,000 miles. In my new life I'm flying around 15,000 miles a year. That means once a year I have to fly to the East Coast. Once every 3 years I get to go visit Australia. Maybe every 5 years to Europe and every 10 years to Hawaii. That would drastically reduce the amount of power from flying. In terms of driving, I can't drive the 10,000 miles that I used to drive. I now can really sort of do a couple of trips a month. So I do a couple of trips a month to work. I do 1 trip a month to visit sort of a partner company. And then 6 or 10 times a year I get to either go north to see my in-laws about 100 miles, or I get to go south to go surfing about 100 miles. It's a big change from the 10,000 miles I used to drive. And it reduced my power consumption from maybe 1,500 watts down to 250 or 300 watts. In terms of eating, the most important thing to do is eat less meat. So I now call myself 6/7 vegetarian. And that means I try to have one extremely good piece of meat a week and then not have bad meat the rest of the week. And it's a compromise that I can make in my life. And as you can see, that took about half of the power consumption out of my eating. And then we come to the stuff. That's all the objects that I own. If you remember, stuff was 20% or 15 or 20% of all of my power consumption. How do I reduce that drastically? Well, there's sort of 2 ways. I either have to own 1/10 of the amount of stuff, or a lot less things, or I have to make the things that I do own last a lot longer. I'm actually already starting to do this, and I'm finding that my life increases. I'm owning less stuff, so my house is less cluttered, and I'm having beautiful objects that I care a lot more about, and I'm keeping them and making them last a lot longer. In doing all these things, what you really want to do is improve your quality of life at the same time as reducing your power consumption. I'm actually finding that this is pretty easy to do. By teleconferencing, I don't have to fly as much, and business travel is no fun. Being more aware of what I'm eating, I'm becoming healthier. I'm commuting by bicycle and I'm walking more often. Again, I've become a lot healthier as a result of this. Turns out doing these things naturally makes me spend more time with my family. And I think there's a lot of good reasons that your life can improve the quality of your life while you take a big slice of the energy or power consumption out of your life. Why is that important again? That's because that makes the challenge of how much renewable energy or non-carbon energy we need to make a lot smaller.